An effort to keep California's most talented young artists right here in the Golden State. I'm Christina Salerno. High schoolers who are the best of the best in art, dance, and music are finding inspiration at a state-funded summer school for the arts.
Kids who may not be quite ready for kindergarten now have a new option. I'm Sarah Gardner. Children with fall birthdays are getting a little extra help to prepare for their official school debut, thanks to the growth of transitional kindergarten programs.
See a day in the life of a school librarian who says books are the way to open up children's minds.
Teaching kids about the past using a tool from the present. I'm Jim Finnerty. Meet a California Teacher of the Year who's gained some YouTube stardom for his informative videos about advanced placement history. It's all coming up on Inside California Education.
Funding for Inside California Education is made possible by, since 1985, the California Lottery has raised more than $30 billion for our public schools. It's a modest amount after dividing it up to California's 1,100 public school districts from kindergarten through high school, as well as community colleges, UC and CSU campuses. Still, these funds help attract quality teachers, provide classroom equipment, and keep art and music programs alive. With caring teachers, committed administrators, and active parents, every public school student can realize their dreams. The California Lottery. Imagine the possibilities. The Stewart Foundation, improving life outcomes for young people through education. Additional funding for Inside California Education is made possible by these organizations supporting public education.
Thanks for joining us on Inside California Education. Hundreds of extremely talented high school students are spending their summer break at a unique program in Southern California where art comes first. It's one of the only programs of its kind in the nation, and that's because it's paid for by you, the taxpayer, all in an effort to keep these talented young singers, dancers, and performers right here in California.
How could I know I would have to leave you? How could I know I would hurt you so?
Good.
You were the one.
My name is Samantha. I'm 15 years old and I go to Castanea School in Palo Alto. I knew before coming to this program that I was definitely interested in becoming a performing artist. And after being here, I've realized that this is definitely something that gives me joy and something that I could do for the rest of my life.
Take a breath in the feeling of the piece that you're singing.
The California State Summer School for the Arts is a summer program that's 4 weeks long that is kind of an immersion program for high school students to come and work on their art, whatever that art happens to be.
How could I ever know this, instead of this?
I teach singing, I teach a theory class, music theory, and I teach a music history class. When I'm not teaching, I am a working opera singer and voice actor. And actually all of the faculty here, we all are working musicians outside of this 1 month where we teach, which is, I think, a really great experience for the kids because they get to see, oh, this is actually possible and this is how you do this.
You could be musical theater and work in New York, or you could do opera like my teachers. I don't really know my direction yet, but I know that it's definitely going to be in the arts.
The whole spirit of the summer school was not like a camp. It was all built on the individual blossoming of the talent of each individual student. In 1983, there was legislation passed to establish a committee to determine how to make a summer school for the arts for high school students for California. At that point, I think there were 13 states that had summer schools for the arts, and now 30 years later, we are the only state in the union that still has a summer school because it was a public-private partnership.
The state of California has kept this going through hard times and good times, seen the value in this, kept the value in this going forward.
Stop, open your eyes. Who survived?
There are 7 different disciplines here. There's film, dance, music, theater, creative writing, visual arts, and animation. And we have about 525 students. We can take 20 students from out of California. But predominantly, our students are all from the state of California. And literally, I think we have 48 counties represented here by students.
Hi, my name is Luis Velez. I'm a 17-year-old senior from Wasco, California. I've been acting since I was in junior high. So how can I be yours? The fact is, you hardly know me. And I hardly know you.
I live in an agricultural-based town, and everyone has big dreams. If you live in a small town, you have big dreams. And a lot of people, you get to high school, you see a lot of those dreams start to kind of fade away, and they become more or less hobbies that you might never pick up. But here, you come here, it's like, you're living the dream.
Falling in love with love. It makes me so happy that California recognizes that the arts are really important for a rounded education.
I think that what the taxpayer gets is a infusion of individuals that will really be able to contribute to what we call the creative economy. You know, James Franco was an alumni of CISA. Zac Efron is an alumni, but I think really for every name you know, there's literally hundreds of people who are working in the entertainment or the artistic industry.
Here's the exercise. You're all going to be chopping wood. It's a beautiful sunny day, and then you're going to hear the sound of a bear. You're going to be the bear.
I was chair of the theater program here for about 20 years before I became director of CISA.
We're having a great time chopping this wood today.
You have to learn how to express things with your body, not just with your face, and not just by learning lines.
Boom. Growl to me.
I had never done anything like this before, anything as immersive. Just, mostly stage plays and community theater. And then when I came here, there was so much that I was exposed to that was thrilling and terrifying and exhausting. It was like an awakening.
Being a month independently without your family or friends really puts you in a really wonderful place of just focusing on what you do for your art form, or even as yourself. I grew tremendously.
This program is the closest you'll get probably to going to college for whatever your discipline is.
It's residential, so the students live in the dorms. So this becomes, for many of them, their first kind of live away from home, test out the college deal kind of living experience.
If I had had this as a teenager, I believe I would have been creative a lot sooner. It matters because art education has fallen off, and there's so many children who, like myself growing up, felt out of place. And here at CISA, it's like all of those students can come together and become one as a family and know that there are other working artists out there who are just like them.
Art is what separates us from animals almost, because we create things, we think about things, and we make them. And I think it helps with all aspects of life. So for this to be a state-funded program that shows that we as a society actually do care about art, so much that we give some of our money to make sure that people can still do it.
My goal as a director is to provide an experience that wakes and shakes somebody up. Because I do think that this program does and has changed people's lives. The path, the course, for the best. It has allowed them to be somebody that they weren't before, or to try something that they would never do before, and in some ways figure out more fully who they are.
Students selected to participate in the California State Summer School for the Arts experience benefits beyond the program. They earn 3 units of college credit at a California State University. They are also designated by the state as California Arts Scholars.
Some parents struggle to decide when their kids should start kindergarten, especially if those kids have not yet reached their 5th birthday at the start of the school year. But now California parents have an option: transitional kindergarten. It's an extra early year of public education designed to ease the way for younger students. Let's visit one school in Sonoma County with a long-standing transitional kindergarten program. If these youngsters seem particularly spirited, that's because many of them possess the boundless energy of kids who've just turned or are about to turn 5.
Well, I like to do my work, and I also like to play and really help others.
Nolan is one of about 60 kids attending transitional kindergarten at Maddie Washburn Elementary in Windsor, California. He says it's more challenging than preschool, but that's okay.
It's normally bigger, and we normally do bigger things. The favorite part about school is doing my work.
And doing that work, learning early academic skills at a slower, gentler pace, is what transitional kindergarten is all about.
You guys are doing good.
You want to take these too?
Really, my kid wants me to come here every day if I could.
Do you want to color them first and then you can cut them out?
It's such a fun thing to do, but I tell you, that hour that I'm in here, I'm like exhausted.
Jennifer Terrell is more than just a volunteer at Maddie Washburn. Her 5-year-old daughter, Sophia, is also a student in this transitional kindergarten class, the first of Jennifer's 4 children to take TK.
From day one, she's loved it. She, has met like a ton of friends, and she's learning a bunch, and yeah, she's as happy as can be about it. I can 100% say that, out of my other kids, the 3 other ones, like she knows more going into kindergarten than any of them did.
Transitional kindergarten really got its start back in 2010, when the state legislature passed the Kindergarten Readiness Act. The law gradually moved back the cutoff birth date for kindergartners from December 2nd to September 1st. Initially, its goal was to align California's cutoff date with 47 other states. But lawmakers and educators recognized 4-year-olds with fall birthdays often struggled, academically and socially, alongside their older classmates when they started kindergarten. So they created a requirement for all California schools to offer kids an extra year, a bridge between preschool and traditional K through 12.
I think anytime students can be given a gift of extra time and a little extra education, it's always a positive thing.
Principal Benita Jones says they actually launched a transitional kindergarten program back in 2005, before it became a state requirement. Those early TK kids are now thriving in high school.
It certainly gave them maturity. They're certainly the right maturity level for their grade level. We're seeing really great strides in both math and reading, especially in reading. So our students who did do our TK program years ago are really excelling in reading and language arts, because that's where they really got a strong basis before moving on.
Okay, let's try to spread these out, and maybe that might help you find one.
So how is transitional kindergarten different? The curriculum is similar to regular kindergarten, but it's taught at a slower pace and with greater focus on early learning and fine motor skills. That means more time for things like art projects and active listening and play.
They do learn a lot in TK, like we do a lot of letter, names, sound, and so it does help them next year when they go to kindergarten. Their kindergarten teachers are able to challenge them a little bit more in their own way. Instead of just teaching them letter names and sounds, they're able to move forward with them.
Just as important, transitional kindergarten can have a dramatic and positive effect on youngsters' social skills.
We are able to work with the kids on being respectful and kind to one another, using problem solving, how to play and interact with each other.
Studies show that placing kids in an early classroom environment like TK, while beginning traditional kindergarten at an older age, leads to a significant boost in test scores, especially among lower-income children. A Stanford study concluded that the cost of an early education is paid back many times in fewer students being held back, reduced special ed costs, higher graduation rates, a greater likelihood of college, higher lifetime earnings, even lower rates of incarceration.
The younger, the better. You really build a strong foundation for these kids. And really, one of our jobs here is just the foundation for the rest of their school career.
Statewide, about 1 in 4 kids starting their public school career is eligible to attend transitional kindergarten. Exceptions are still allowed for 4-year-olds born in the fall to attend regular kindergarten if parents request it, and the district agrees it's in the child's best interests.
My husband and I questioned whether it was the right decision to make, if they should just go into kindergarten. But we asked around, and lots of teachers and friends said that it was beneficial.
Parent Jennifer Terrell says if it makes sense for your child, don't hesitate.
If they have the opportunity to do it, definitely sign their kid up, or do what they can to get a program rolling. I do feel like my child will have a greater advantage going into kindergarten.
You may have heard the term redshirting when it comes to kindergarten. Redshirting is when parents delay their child's entry into kindergarten so the child will be a little bit older. The term comes from college sports, when a coach allows a player to practice but not compete in games. This extends the player's eligibility for another year.
Still ahead on Inside California Education, how California's 2016 Teacher of the Year mixes current pop culture with history to keep young students engaged. But first, we'll show you a day in the life of a school librarian.
My relationship with books started so early. I spent a lot of my childhood reading. It was a part of my identity and who I became. I'm Jessica Esperanza. I am a school librarian here at Two Rivers Elementary School. I've been here for 6 years at Natomas Unified School District. And then she says, Taya Nayamba, Taya Nayamba. I read a lot of stories, I check out a lot of books, I answer a lot of questions. You want a ballerina one? Should we go look one up on the computer? This is my space. This is where I belong. Being a school librarian is such a different experience because you're getting kids when they're right at the beginning of their relationship with books, and being able to help them figure out where that works for them is really fun. People told stories of how in the old days to get children to read starting so young, it gives them a power over their learning, and it gives them the ability to be creative, to think outside of the world that they know, and you see the impact that makes.
Do you think you have strong hands?
I learned early when I'm reading to kids, if I want to really engage them and keep their attention, they need to be a part of the story. When you make them a part of the story, either reading a line or doing a read and response, they're fully engaged. And to know that I'm doing that, I'm having that relationship with these kids, and really it's just an honor to go along that journey with them. I think it's so important for schools to really put a focus on making the library someplace special. This is a gathering point where every child in this school comes into this space, and kids take it upon themselves to come in during recess and after school, and they're given kind of their own freedom. It's welcoming to them, it's comfortable. It's somewhere that they want to be.
And that's because they're in another language. But would you like to try saying them? Yeah.
I use the library and the books to open up themes and ideas of ways that they matter. And it's also, I think, my opportunity to show them ways that they impact the world and that they can be good citizens, because I think we all need to hear that.
Good job. Thank you guys for being so responsive.
We are here for a reason, and we impact everyone around us.
All right, boys and girls, what do we say to Miss Jessica?
Thank you, Miss Jessica.
Let's introduce you to the 2016 California Teacher of the Year, Daniel Joes. He's gained fame well beyond his Los Angeles school thanks to the innovative YouTube videos he creates to give students a little extra help. It's just one of the ways he connects with the young people taking his challenging advanced placement history class. Wedged at the nexus of the 110 and 101 freeways in Los Angeles sits downtown Magnet's High School.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, so we're going to learn some stuff today. As you can see, America's best-looking teacher program is back in the building.
The fact that Daniel Jose's students are familiar with TV cameras shouldn't come as a surprise. He's received all kinds of media attention since being named California's Teacher of the Year.
Teaching is the only profession where you win an award and you get more work, more stress. Like, I think it's given me more gray hair, and I'm losing more of my hair, as you can see. But I'm real thankful because I'm able to shine a spotlight on what we do here at this school, what we're doing in LAUSD, and public schooling in general. You're going to take a position on that statement.
Jose himself is a product of the Los Angeles Unified School District. He's taught here for 13 years. His creative teaching style aims to make the past relevant to the present for the students in his advanced placement history class.
Anybody on these ends of the spectrum, jump on in. APUSH is not a new street gang that you should be afraid of. It is AP US History. I majored in history at UCLA. APUSH is the hardest class. I never took a class as hard as APUSH or AP US History. We have a wall of fame over there that has the last year's crew. We had a pass rate of 91%, and the national average is around 48, 49%. The district average is around 38%, and we let every kid test. Every kid who wants to be in the class is in it. What that means about you?
It was pretty fun. You know, I like learning about our country's past, and all the good things, all the bad things, and I think it's pretty useful so that way we can learn how to make decisions in the future.
I had heard from other students who had taken the class that it was a really fun class. Even though it was hard, like, you learned a lot from it. Jose has a really outgoing personality, and he's really hip, even though he doesn't intend to be it. He goes out of his way to do a lot of extra things, like create videos, in case you've checked out his YouTube channel.
This may be Jose's most visible achievement and the closest a high school teacher may ever get to international YouTube stardom. An eclectic mashup of cartoons, photos, pop culture, propelling students through the tough curriculum.
I started for my students because they were struggling. So you can't take Mr. Jose home with you, nor would you want to, nor does he want to. But if you need help and it's 5 o'clock, you can go on this channel and get some additional support. I started it for my students, but it's blown up. Now it's like nearly 1 million minutes are watched per week by students and teachers across the country.
I really like the YouTube channel. I think that's my favorite thing that he does because it gives a very big overview on the material, and then he goes into depth the next day.
For Jose, the channel represents what he'd like teaching to become, an endeavor that spreads outside the classroom, influencing students, amplifying teachers' voices and impact. It comes at a price.
And that's the thing, time. This is literally like late at night, I'm done grading, done lesson planning, done spending time with my wonderful, beautiful wife, and now I'm going to go in the back room and tell my dog don't bark so I can record this video.
Since the TVA was the federal government.
In April of 2016, Jose made history of his own. His travel destination then was the White House, to be honored as one of 4 finalists for National Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
We had that experience, surreal. Hung out with Vice President Joe Biden at the Vice President's mansion. It was just an honor to be at the White House, to shake the president's hand, to meet with education leaders, and to really kind of see teachers celebrate in a way that, you know, I wish could happen more often, and to all my colleagues, because we're putting in this work and it's hard. It's the hardest job there is, I think.
Jose didn't win that top prize, but it might not have sat well with him anyway. It required the winning teacher to leave the classroom for a full year to serve as a traveling advocate for public education. Jose is on the same mission, but is enacting change right here.
I'd like to hear from a few people we have not heard from. So start us off, someone. Why are you where you are? This career, this profession it's a participation sport. And that's from the students to the parents to the teachers and the policymakers. Come to these public schools and see the great work that's being done. Teachers, speak up about all the cool things that are happening. Yell it, scream it, Twitter, social media, call Congress, because we have a great institution, public education, to protect.
That's going to do it for this edition of Inside California Education. If you'd like more information about the program, just log on to our website, InsideCalEd.org. We have videos from all of our shows, and you can connect with us on social media as well. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Inside California Education. You're going to be the bear.
Okay, let's try to spread these out, and maybe that might help you find one.
And that's because they're in another language. But would you like to try saying them?
Good morning. Good morning. Anybody on these ends of the spectrum, jump on in.
Funding for Inside California Education is made possible by, since 1985, the California Lottery has raised more than $30 billion for our public schools. It's a modest amount after dividing it up to California's 1,100 public school districts from kindergarten through high school, as well as community colleges, UC and CSU campuses. Still, these funds help attract quality teachers, provide classroom equipment, and keep art and music programs alive. With caring teachers, committed administrators, and active parents, every public school student can realize their dreams. The California Lottery. Imagine the possibilities. The Stewart Foundation, improving life outcomes for young people through education. Additional funding for Inside California Education is made possible by these organizations supporting public education.